Hello and welcome back to Talking Giants. Today is December 19th, 2025, and our New York Football Giants are home playing the Minnesota Vikings. They're playing 9. The Vikings are hot. JJ McCarthy's hot. Is he that hot? Probably not. He's just not throwing the ball out that much. It's the story of his life. An interesting test for Jaxson Dart. Blah, 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 blah. We want the number one overall pick. We want the season to end. We want everybody fired. Sean Marash, what in the world is going to happen this Sunday?
I think what's going to happen is the same thing that's happened to the Giants all year long. I think they're going to compete in this game. And Justin, I'm just going to get it out of the way now because we hate talking about it here on Talking Giants, and I understand it. If they don't give up a freaking punt or kick return for a touchdown, the Giants should be very much in this game to the bitter end. Then it's just a matter of, are they blowing a lead in the fourth quarter, or are they going to just have their typical December one extra win to spoil a tank job? So, pick your poison. If there's no special teams return, expect one of those two outcomes in what I anticipate being a close game with two heavily flawed teams.
Yeah, I think the Giants defense is so bad, and especially knowing that this time of the year when you're this bad, it's a question about effort. It's a question about the intensity that you're going to bring, and knowing that there are just zombies on that football field, knowing that there's a lot of resources being spent on the defense. And typically when you have resources spent on the defense, those are veterans out there. It's not necessarily rookies and guys on the rookie contracts that are playing for their lives and playing for their jobs and playing for money and shit like that. So I simply think it could be a game where Kevin O'Connell will make things easy on J.J. McCarthy. The Giants defense will make things easy on J.J. McCarthy. He'll attempt 23 passes this game. The Vikings can have 150 rushing yards, even though I still don't view their offensive line as this major point of strength. That's been a little bit of a problem for the Vikings the last couple of years. I think they thought that they would fix it, not fully fixed. And they can run for 150 to 170 yards. Because you're playing the Giants defense. And if you choose to rush outside the tackles, the Giants are one of the worst rush defenses outside the tackles in terms of success rate, ever. ever. And of course, we know the graphic that was going around on the Fox broadcast last week, the worst yards per carry during the Super Bowl era. And also, I've said that on this show time and time again over the last month or so. So that's the formula for the Minnesota Vikings. The Giants defense is not going to make your life difficult. But there is parts of this game where I am excited to see what Jaxson Dart does against the unique defense of the Minnesota Vikings as well.
Yeah, no doubt. And just as a caveat, not to get too far away, I'm excited to see Abdul build on what he did last week too, because that's a guy, obviously, and Drew Phillips and Tyler Nubin, who seemingly are playing better football as the team falls apart the last couple of weeks. So there are a couple guys, at least the young guys. You brought up all the veterans. So yeah, of course, I expect Paulson and Debo to probably dog it on a tackle down the field. But, I think this is, again, one of those games. If you're watching Giant football, it's for the young guys. And you mentioned Jaxson Dart. If you want to go there, let's go there.
Yeah, let's go there. We'll put a pin on it. I have Abdul Carter notes. During the midweek episode, I did a lot of stats and a lot of writing and a lot of digging and stuff like that. So I would even like to bring up and rehash some of that with you as well. But let's talk about Jaxson Dart. This was a game even going back to August, when the conversation that we were having every single week in August about when are we going to see Jaxson Dart? And I said, the perfect runway for Jaxson Dart is the final 4 games of the season. And this was the game that I particularly had circled as I'm excited for it, even though knowing that the Vikings defense is very tough, the Vikings defense is very difficult. It was going to be a home game against the Vikings, so it's going to be a little bit colder. Seeing Jaxson Dart in the cold, and can he rip the ball in the cold, right? Which we've already seen that. He's passed that test between the Chicago game and a couple of the other cold games that he's had. Even last week he played in the cold.
Yeah. Last week, though, he did have a couple balls flutter, which I didn't expect. And he was on Hard Knocks talking about, man, this wind is crazy.
Yeah.
But at least he's acknowledging that, and I think that's just one of those things you learn from being a Giant quarterback playing home games in December.
The wind is always crazier when they practice versus in the game, by the way, which is a very strange thing about MetLife Stadium.
Well, it's more wide open. I mean, at least you have the stadium itself built around the field. You know what I mean?
The horse. You got to remember the horse track is there too. The horse racing, which impacts the winds, Thomas McGahee. Yes. But facing this Vikings defense, I'm excited for it, Sean, because they have the highest pressure rate in the league this year. They have the highest blitz rate in the league, and it's not even close. I think 46% next gen. Next gen has a different sites track it differently, but 46% of their plays, they're blitzing. 9th in the league in defensive EPA, so they're still good, and they're an aggressive unit. Now, Jaxson Dart does well against the blitz, but his numbers are worse when he faces pressure. And a lot of his attempts, and why I think there's a difference there, right? The distinction with those two. His numbers could be well against the blitz, but why are his numbers not good when he faces pressure? I think it's because Jaxson Dart and also Mike Kafka in his ears, I think they have done a great job recognizing when pressure could be coming. Jaxson Dart has done a solid job himself, reading the line of scrimmage, getting calls out, getting protections out, good communication. Hey, JMS is the one responsible for that as well. I think this line has communicated very well with each other, and Dart has understood from a pre-snap standpoint what he's needed to do and where he's needed to go. And particularly, Sean, him getting rid of the ball quick has been, I think, an under-talked about positive of Dart's game so far this year. So Jaxson Dart has thrown 46.2% of his passes in under 2.5 seconds this season. That's the 7th highest rate among qualified quarterbacks. On those passes, he's recorded almost an 80% completion percentage. That's the 5th highest in the league, while adding an expected points added as the 13th highest in EPA when he's releasing the ball in 2.5 seconds or faster. So as we talk about Jaxson Dart improvising and Jaxson Dart creating with his legs, it's him getting rid of the ball quick where he's found most of his success, and frankly, most of his throws have been the quick game, and you're going to need that when you play a Brian Flores defense.
I'm so glad we're going here with this, Justin, because this, to me, has been the biggest night and day difference between a Giant offense that was operated by Daniel Jones and a Giant offense that was operated by Jaxson Dart. And it's frankly something that when you watch rookie quarterbacks play in the NFL, that you feel like what Jaxson Dart has done well in reading all those stats is in many times like the last thing a potential franchise quarterback gets down, because they always talk about the timing and the quickness of the NFL and being able to, kind of check everything off that mental box and then identify pressures. And the fact that he's been so far ahead of the curve and ahead of the game is a big part of why I think that any head coach would look at this job as attractive, because it's one less thing, an important thing in the NFL in terms of processing that you're going to have to teach. And if you can't rattle a young quarterback with not having to be able to pre-identify where the pressure is coming, I mean, checkmate. So that's something that Jaxson Dart has absolutely pulled off. It's something that I think that he's probably been busting his ass all week, looking at Brian Flores tape, anticipating. And it was something that was on display last year in week 1 for the 100th anniversary celebration that Daniel Jones absolutely crumbled in and set this whole freaking thing in motion the last 2 years, and was an embarrassing poo stain on the pants of New York Giant football a year ago. So yeah, I think that's a massive plus. The whole thing, and this is not a joke, this is actually serious, is just when you're quick to identify where the pressure is coming from and you have a hot read, can Darius Slayton hold on to the football? Will Theo Johnson hold on to the football? Those are going to be the guys where he's going to, or is this just strictly going to be a Wan'Dale Robinson game off of that?
Yeah, Dart has thrown 7 of his 13 touchdown passes when he's had those quick releases, and the Vikings have allowed the second lowest completion rate, 16th fewest expected points added per attempt to passes thrown in under 2.5 seconds. This is a game where, again, I don't want to analyze and pick apart this game. There's just no need, but I'm still very curious to see what Jaxson Dart does. There's 3 games left. I want to enjoy Jaxson Dart. There's going to be a point in June and in May where it's so slow and there's nothing going on, and I'm going to be missing football, and I'm going to be missing watching Jaxson Dart play football. I would like to see Isaiah Hodgins added into the fold a little bit more as just a consistent, reliable option that could get open in the short part of the field, right?
Yeah, him and Dart have had no chemistry whatsoever. The best strange. Hodgins was the Jameis Winston stuff when he first joined the team.
Very strange. Hodgins can be a guy that you could target in the red zone too. So if it's going to be so imperative for him to get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, and also it goes along with this whole conversation of protecting, you want to protect Jaxson Dart too. The way that you protect Jaxson Dart is by getting the ball out of his hands. Isaiah Hodgins can be a big part of that. Also, like Theo Johnson, if you're targeted in the short part of the field, are you going to give anything after the catch? I have been pounding the table on that Theo Johnson's season is one that Joe Schoen in the front office will flaunt. When I'm like, okay, there's 5 touchdown catches here, there's moments and there's flashes, but even forget the drops for the second, and when the drops come, after the catch, he is really disappointing. Outside of the 1 touchdown catch that he against the Patriots where he looked like Mark Bavaro, are we going to see anything there? The road to Wan'Dale Robinson being top 10 in catches and yards. Yeah. He's still top 10 in catches. He's just outside the top 10 in yards. Can he finish in a contract year? And Sean, like another thing to watch out for outside of Jaxson Dart, but obviously it's all interconnected, right? I finally looked at pass blocking efficiency numbers and offensive line numbers for Andrew Thomas and Jermaine Illuminor. Did you know that both of them are in the top 10 in pass blocking efficiency in true pass sets? Andrew Thomas is second, Jermaine Illuminor is seventh. So, dude, what a
Andrew
world! Thomas needs to be a Pro Bowler.
The Giants stink, and they have awesome tackle play and really good quarterback play. What a world we're living in, Justin.
I know.
What a world. Now, one thing that you should highlight when pointing out all of the Vikings defensive stats and what Brian Flores can bring to the table and Jaxson Dart diagnosing this is, after that loss with the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, two heart and soul pieces of that Viking defense are on season-ending IR now, and safety Josh Metellus and Jonathan Greenard, the outside linebacker.
Bernard,
That's a really, really big deal for that Viking defense now, they're obviously shutting those guys down because they're out of the playoff picture. And, but regardless, when you're playing a game like this and diagnosing, and you want to look at season-long stats, not having those two pieces on a Viking defense does change things for Brian Flores and what Jaxson Dart is going to have to deal with here.
Yeah, Javon Hargrave didn't practice either with the thigh injury. They both of their tackles did not practice.
No, they're very. Put it this way: if we cared as Giants fans hardcore about this game, like if this game mattered in terms of a playoff push, the big story would be, oh my God, can you believe how beat up the Vikings are coming into this game?
Yeah, and also we would be making fun of JJ McCarthy a lot more.
Yeah. Well, just as a quick aside, as long as we're talking about Jaxson Dart, how about that storyline in this game too, Justin? The Giants brought in J.J. McCarthy last year, and I was told by people inside the building that the main takeaway when J.J. McCarthy left the building and why the Giants were not going to draft him is they thought he looked like an 8th grade science student as opposed to an NFL quarterback. Like they were that down on him after the meeting. Now, I'm very happy the Giants ended up with Jaxson Dart, but if you are a team like fire Joe Schoen, all that money invested in the Giant defense, having this guy that you basically told ownership could never be the Giant quarterback embarrass you. If that's something you want to root for Sunday, keep an eye on that. If he outplays Jaxson Dart on Sunday.
He may not outplay Jaxson Dart, but I still think that defense is so bad. Again, it will make things easy. I think Kevin O'Connell will give JJ McCarthy enough keys and enough, they've been doing a good job moving him outside the pocket. And I guess even here we can go to the defensive side. I think Kevin O'Connell the last couple of weeks, especially against Dallas, has done a nice job getting him outside the pocket, a lot of play action rollouts, and JJ McCarthy's numbers against the blitz are the worst in the league. They're awful. And the way that you can alleviate that is let's get him outside the pocket. Let's use his athleticism and let's get him throwing on the run. A lot of explosive plays against Dallas and very conservative against Washington. So two different approaches. I frankly don't think it's all that difficult for you to be very explosive against Dallas, as we saw earlier in the year, even with the additions. They are getting they've gotten relatively healthy on that defensive back.
And Quinn Williams has made a big difference.
I still think Quinnen Williams isn't helping prevent 20+ yard, 30+ yard passing plays that you see. Certainly JJ McCarthy and 9 had his way on Sunday Night Football. But I do think, just with the nature of how this Giants defense is, instead of being aggressive, instead of trying to bring the party to the offense, dictate the terms of the game, I think you're going to see a defense that's going to be very passive. They're going to play man coverage. They're going to try and keep everything kind of in front of them. And that's going to allow just, I think, easy reads for J.J. McCarthy to just move the ball well enough. And then the run game will be able to cover the rest.
Yeah. Yeah, well, again, don't have him embarrass him. The run game, fine, all of that. This is going to come down to the young pieces on the Giant defense having a little pride in their work in the last month of the season. I'm less worried about Dexter Lawrence, Bobby Okereke, Paulson Adebo, even Javon Holland, any of those guys who don't want to go into Christmas in the offseason banged up. Let's see those young guys play with a little pride if you care about those things.
I care about Dexter. We have to have more.
We're going to have we're going to have a lot of offseason talks about Dexter Lawrence, and I have no problem saying this right here, Justin. I think I've gotten to the point where I actually think I'm going to be surprised if he's a New York Giant next year.
If Joe Schoen is the general manager, I think Dexter Lawrence is not a Giant.
That's a good way of putting it.
If Joe Schoen is out as general manager, then I think that there's a solid chance that he wants to be here.
Well, I guess this is more interesting in the game, but if you were hired as the new general manager of the New York Giants, and you have Dexter Lawrence who can bring you back some draft capital. You know he's on the other side of things. I mean, not that he can't play in his prime and everything. You know what I mean, though. He's getting a little older.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you be more inclined to want to move a Dexter Lawrence, a guy that's been here through a lot of losing, and kind of start building your own thing up? I don't know. I actually think if you hired a new GM and Dexter Lawrence wasn't traded, I would take that as a warning sign that ownership is still very much making the GM call their shots early.
I mean, he's such a one-of-one player when he's right, though.
Correct. I like Dexter Lawrence, but he's, a draft class 2018. At what point do you look at it and go, we're building something. We hope with Jaxson Dart we're good in the next year or two, but it's better to collect the assets and start over, go draft a Peter Woods in the first round or something like that.
But then you're going to be looking for that next guy, though. If this was...
But if you get multiple first-round picks between having the first overall pick, trading back, trading Dexter Lawrence, go take the best D tackle in round one with one of your picks.
Yeah, it depends what that package would be. Like that Quinnen Williams package, wasn't that just 1-1 and 1-2?
Yeah, you wouldn't take that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
And I like Dexter Lawrence, and I would have slapped myself in the face if I said this in September, but I need to know.
I need to know, why is it this bad? Like
don't you think it's a combination?
It's bad. It's worse than what we've seen even before he broke out, and he wasn't even bad back. This is bad. So that's why, to me, it almost feels like there's a reason for it. It's not just injury. There's a reason why this is happening, and I really think if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, Nicky Snacks. If you get a new guy in here that's running the team, that isn't going to trade away your best friend, that isn't going to screw over Saquon Barkley, a guy that you went through, thick and thin with, a guy that's going to do whatever with Daniel Jones. I don't know. I don't know I can only imagine how the dude must be feeling. I can only imagine also that trading away your best friend and Leonard Williams was a tipping point for you in all of this too. And
you grow up. It's a business. You traded away your best friend. I can't hear that.
On top of that, I think more importantly, he wanted more money. And I think he viewed that incentive that Joe Schoen gave him in August. And at the time, I was like, oh, good on Joe Schoen. Like, I looked at the incentives. I'm like, this is something that he really can reach. He probably viewed that as a spit in the face to him. And I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. I'm just trying to think of how he could be feeling and why he could be feeling a certain type of way, because such a dramatic fall in play and production, that's the only explanation that makes sense for me for a guy to go to such an all-pro level to a nothing.
I mean, I think you nailed it. I don't think he's happy with being paid what he's being paid, took that incentive as a shot. But on the flip side, does that mean that Dexter Lawrence has handled his business the right way by maybe not being in the best shape? I mean, he may or may not have dogged the rehab with the elbow, and it cost him early in this season, then hid behind double teams. He certainly doesn't sound like a guy behind a microphone that wants to be a New York Giant. Every time you ask him, even trying to be complimentary of young guys, he certainly hasn't helped Abdul Carter's case at all as far as a veteran in the room. As the weeks go on, and I don't blame Dexter Lawrence, because when you've gone through this many regime changes and this many losses, he's a human being, and I can only imagine like the human element that goes into it. But I would have never said this in September. Again, you don't trade him for a bag of balls. I'm way more open to moving on with from Dexter Lawrence, and I actually think the Giants probably will.
If Joe Schoen's here, I think that they will.
Okay. But that was fun, by the way. See, we didn't need 5 extra minutes of Viking prep. We got a little Dexter Lawrence in.
Yeah. Now, Sean, what's the most important thing over the next 3 weeks? Something to watch out for outside of Jaxson Dart and maybe Abdul Carter. But okay, so I would even debate that this person is more important than Abdul Carter.
Okay. All right. So now we're eliminating also the idea of like Jaxson Dart not getting hurt over the last 3 weeks. So we don't have to have that conversation anymore. Like that counts when talking about Jaxson Dart.
Yeah. I'm over that conversation. If it comes up again, and we got to talk about it on Sunday, and that spices up the post game pod. All right.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because I think that Abdul Carter are obviously number 1 and 2. So the most important thing, not with those. Honestly, for me, maybe it's not sexy. Because I like what I've seen the last 2 weeks, I want Drew Phillips and Tyler Newman to close the year strong.
I think you're wrong.
What?
I think you're wrong.
You think I'm wrong?
That is not the thing to look out for.
That's what I'm looking for. You give me what you think is most important.
Ben Sauls.
Yeah. Great call, Justin. You know what? I bend my knee, good sir.
The rookie kicker from Pitt over the summer, he was with the Steelers. He has 3 years of starting kicking experience at the University of Pitt, 2022 to 2024. 53 games, 122 for 124 in extra points. Now in college, like they have the short extra points. But still, 98% extra point rate. 52 out of 64 in field goals. That's an 81.3 make rate. Sean, do you know the percentage of kicks the Giants have made as a football team since 2023?
Just overall percentage, not from beyond 45 or anything like that.
It's just overall percentage in field goal.
68%.
78.
Okay, so higher than
78. God,
by the way, and we lived a world, just as a quick aside, where kicker was never a problem for the Giants up until a couple of years ago. Like from Brad D'Aloiso to Lawrence, like the Giants have always been pretty reliable in the kicker game, even the early Graham Gano stuff.
Yeah. So Ben Sauls, over his the last 3 years of his career at the University of Pittsburgh, a 3% higher field goal rate, good rate, than the New York Football Giants have been over the last 3 years themselves. The league average, by the way, since the Giants are at 78%, the league average over the last 3 years is 85%.
Yeah. I mean, and let's not get started on anything long range where the Giants never have a weapon there, where the whole league has progressed that way.
The longest kick that they've made is 57 yards. Now, I will say there have only been 10 kicks of 60-plus yards over the last 3 years. So you would think, oh, my God, these kickers are making kicks all the time. That's not fully the case. I think it's when we see the 60-yarder, when we see the 65-yarder be made.
Half of them happen against us. That's
right,
why.
which I was looking at that. I'm like, two of them have happened against us, which is pretty nuts. Brandon Aubrey being one of them. I think Jake Elliott missed one. There's another one that somebody made a 60-yarder against us, too.
Greg Joseph on Christmas Eve a couple years ago did.
Yeah, and ironically enough, Greg Joseph has missed some kicks for us, too. I think Greg Joseph actually statistically may be him and Fat Randy, like two of the best, statistically best.
That actually kickers. Wasn't 2023. That was Christmas Eve 2022, that game. I forgot about that.
What is crazy, though, is that 10 of their 17 misses have been between 42 and 48 yards. And if you want a stat that exists but doesn't matter, they've missed 17 kicks over the last 3 years. They are 0 for 6 in these two exact distances, not the range. These two exact distances. They are 0 for 2 with 35-yard field goals. They are 0 for 4. All 4 field goals that they have attempted of 45 yards over the last 3 years, they have missed. They're 0 for 4. So those two distances alone, 35 and 45 yards, combined for 6 of the 17 total misses that the Giants have had over the last 3 years. So on to Ben Sauls, who was a lefty kicker, by the way. How does that make you feel?
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah.
You know what, Justin? Saul's good, man.
Better call him.
You get it? You come on. That's going to be the headline if he makes a big kick. Saul's good, man. Just like
Saul's good. Yeah, we both. You know what? We both just said the same joke in a different way. He had a long of 58 yards. There was also a 57-yarder in there too at the end of the half one time. He's kind of like an intense dude. I'm not going to give you a full. I gave you as much of kind of a scouting report, I think, as maybe you care about. 81% field goal make rate, 98% extra points. He has a little bit of a leg. He's going to be a lefty, so that's going to be an adjustment for the holder. That's going to be an adjustment for the long snapper as well to make sure that that's right. You got 3 games, kid. You got 3 games.
Exactly. You're the stat guy. Have we ever had a lefty kicker?
I feel like we've had to.
I can't even now. You know how a lefty quarterback just looks awkward, like when you watch Tua play back in the day, Boomer.
Everything lefty is
it's just weird.
Awkward.
Now I'm trying to picture a lefty kicker. So you say 3 games. Here's what I will say, and you're right. Where we kind of started this whole thing, Newman and Phillips like, no, that's not the most important thing. Ben Sauls is the exact kind of idea all of us in the Giant world have been calling for the last 2 off seasons. The Giants needed a reset at kicker. And they needed to identify a kicker coming out of college that they could kind of build around and hope that, he sticks. This is what the golden organizations typically do. It's what the Patriots had done for so long. Find a kicker, get him in while he's young. If you're not using a draft pick, let him be an undrafted kicker, whatever. I don't know if Ben Sauls ends up ultimately being that guy, but the idea of Ben Sauls is the idea the Giants need to go with here. So if Ben Sauls operates over these last 3 games where he feels close to automatic, and you're also getting the testament. Remember, this is a kicker that kicked in Pitt on that field, which is very rough for kickers
in the cold.
In the cold. But then, the Pitt Panthers and Steelers share the yard as formerly known as Heinz Field. It's a terrible place to kick. So I'm not even judging his full college stats on that. But if you have cold weather experience, I think that's huge. And look, this is something, Justin, where you could check an off-season box off. Or even if you bring in another kicker to compete with them, just have the idea of, hey, we think we could have a kicker next year instead of it being another huge question mark on a team full of them in the offseason. So that is why this is really, really important to watch him kick here. And honestly, man, I know that we live in this world of, hey, you're 2-11, be aggressive. Hey, you're an interim head coach, Mike Kafka, be aggressive. Honestly, for me as a Giant fan, not really caring about the outcomes of games, if this is a team in some of these 4th and 1, 4th and 2 situations, and like they're not down 14 points and the game is tight, I am more than willing to throw aggression out the window, to trot this guy out there, to kick some field goals in these games and play old school kind of football just to see if he freaking has it. Like, because I actually think it is that important for this team to identify the kicker position. I'm not going to yell and scream on a 4th and 1 if they're kicking a field goal on Sunday.
So thanks to Art Stapleton for pulling some stuff too, because I'm reading his article right now. The first kicker invited to the scouting combine this year. He was 6 of 7 from over 50 yards last year, which is awesome. The long for I think Chris Boswell has the long at Heinz Field is 59 yards. So he has a 58 yarder at Pitt. The long is 59 yards for Chris Boswell. Michael Gabriel and the Giants scouting staff identified him early on in the scouting process, which is great.
Why wasn't he kicking the last couple of weeks? Then he's been here. Why?
Jamie Gillian was technically a lefty kicker for the Giants because he has attempted field goals, but the Giants have not had a full-time lefty kicker. And again, thanks to Art Stapleton, since Morton Anderson in 2001.
Okay, so Morton Anderson, that's a great kicker all time. That was a lefty kicker. Okay, so that eases some of my, does that look weird? Can holders handle it? All right, look, I am excited about that. Now, that whole, what I just said, Justin, like, would you agree though? Like this game, like, be damned. Like, I don't care. 4th and 1, I don't need to run a little flip play to Tyrone Tracy. Kick a field goal on Sunday. Let's see what he has.
I want to see it.
You want to see it? We're team anti-aggression Sunday here on Talking Giants.
I'll be there. I'll talk about that. I want to talk about that a little later. One more thing. I want to talk about Abdul Carter, and then we'll get to segments. But first, I do want to talk to you about Shopify. Today's preview pod is brought to you by Shopify. Did you know, Sean Marish, that it's the best place to start and grow a business?
Yes, Shopify.
Which is why we partner with them here at John Boy Media. They have relaunched our merch store on Shopify with our new /line site, and it was a dream. We brought the ideas, and Shopify brought the execution. As you're shopping our new launch, check out what Shopify can do for you. Life really is a touchdown when you have Shopify on your side. Shopify Sidekick, Shopify Magic, and the suite of AI tools are a total game changer. It's revolutionizing the way you can build and manage a business. You'll have your own AI assistant guiding you on everything: directions, reports, editing images, content ideas. Shopify's got your next move covered. If you're ready to take that business idea from a draft to reality, it's time to head over to shopify.com/giants. Shopify is the perfect partner for any business roster, so make sure that they're on yours today. Thank you to Shopify.
Yeah, Justin, you know what you are? What? Pretty Shopify for a white guy.
Pretty Shopify for a white guy. I'm going to be honest, I don't get it.
You don't remember the Offspring song, Pretty Fly for a White Guy? How old are you?
Oh, I'm 27. We've discussed this on this show before.
You don't remember the song Offspring song, Pretty Fly for a White Guy? You're too young for that?
What year did it come out?
I got to look this up. Where's Jeff? You got to know this.
No, Jeff's out today.
Is he? Lazy on Christmas?
Jeff, it was his birthday a couple days ago.
Well, you don't tell me that. I could have texted him. This is my first year working with Jeff.
Oh, you know what? That was a good. You know what? That is a bad guy move. That would have been.
Now
he would have really appreciated a text message from you.
You don't remember it go, give it to me, baby.
Nope. Especially not when it's sung like that.
All the pretty things, you're pretty fly for a white guy. Oh, it has its own.
You know what? Now that you say that, I think I know it.
You know what? It was in 1998. I was 11 years old singing.
Well, the year that I was born. So,
are you serious?
That's the year I was born.
You know how old you make me feel? I feel like we're the same age.
I'm getting. Here's the good news: you don't have any gray hair on your head.
I don't have hair on my head.
I'm getting gray. I'm getting gray on the left side of my head, and it's starting to migrate towards the center.
You're gonna get the Paulie Walnuts wings.
It's because we talk about this football. It's because we have to talk about. I'm fully convinced it's because we have to talk about this fucking football team every week.
I can't believe you were born in '98.
Yeah,
God,
I haven't been patronized like this since 2019 by Carl Banks on Twitter. Sean Morash.
Jeez. By the way, big redemption year for Carl Banks. Got to give it to him the last few weeks. He's been
pretty well. I think a couple weeks. Remember what was the. Was it with Shane Bowen in the early part of the year? It was just really bad. But
yeah,
I like Carl.
Let's be fair. Got to give Carl the flowers this year. There's been a big bounce back for Carl this year.
Abdul Carter. If you're gonna have both tackles out, I want to see him against good tackles. I don't want to just see him against bad tackles. Like I want to see him against, especially now that it doesn't matter. Like next year, okay, give me all the bad tackles so that we can get 15 sacks and have just a total redemption year. But now that there's 3 games left and we already have all right, 1.5 sacks. All right, I want to see up against good players. But still, all right, well, if both tackles are out, go get 9. Go get them. Right now, it's kind of crazy that even though with only 1.5 sacks, he's 16th in total pressures. That's sacks, hits, and hurries. And that's in the NFL, like the entire NFL. It's best on the Giants. Obviously, Brian Burns is having a better year, more sacks, more negative plays, more tackles for loss, all that kind of stuff. But this is why Abdul Carter setting himself up for year number 2. I think next year could be a monster year for Abdul Carter. He's 17th in hits. He's 11th in pressures. He's 4th in the NFL in quick pressures. And Sean, out of the guys in the top 25 in pressures, right? Mm-hmm. In quick pressures, I should say. Because you can look at it on NFL Pro. You can look at all the next gen stats that they have. It's changed my life since they've introduced that. Out of all of those guys in the top 25 in quick pressures, Abdul Carter has the fastest time to pressure in the NFL out of those top 25 guys. The only guy that's around in that territory that is quicker is Nick Bolton. What's different about Nick Bolton than Abdul Carter? Do you know?
I don't know.
He's an off-ball linebacker. He's an interior linebacker. He's not an edge rusher.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
So that's why I was looking at it, and I'm like, Nick Bolton is the only guy that's close.
I was going to say, does he just get home more than Abdul Carter after?
No, he's an interior linebacker, so he plays a totally different position, even though Abdul Carter does rush the passer a good amount from the A-gap as well. So, obviously, when you're a first-round draft pick and you finish the year with a sack and a half, or if he's going to finish the year with even 3.5 sacks in these final 3 games, it's going to be viewed as a disappointment. But I am going to sit here all offseason, and I am going to be very, very excited because pressure and the way that you get to the quarterback and the rate at which you get to the quarterback and you get in the backfield, that will always be a better indicator for future success than a guy that gets 10 sacks but 12 QB hits. Think of Kayvon Thibodeau in 2023 when people worship that season. Think of that as an example.
No, you're right.
So
you're right, because eventually you get home enough. Well, I'm sorry, you get enough pressure, you'll get home. I think just more important than that, I feel like I keep playing the mental game, right? I've talked about this with Jaxson Dart. I talked about the mentality with the kicker. This feels like a very mental theme for me. I think there's a mental aspect to Abdul Carter this week, and that is now I'm going to play the older man than Justin card as a parent. I'm treating Abdul Carter like a kid, and the Giants are the parent, right? Like you want your kids to learn lessons. There's certain punishments you give kids, and then there's rewards you give kids, and you hope that they continue to learn what's good, what's bad. Abdul Carter made it a point last week, and I know that we're setting the bar really low to be really attentive, show up to the meetings. We heard Jonathan Vilma a million times. Going to hear it this week, too.
Oh, great. We could practice.
Yeah, we heard that, right? But it paid off. Abdul Carter paid off. And if the Giants had actually won that game in that last drive, we'd be talking about Abdul Carter as like a signature moment, the hero. Didn't think you were getting the ball back, and he does that. So now you didn't win the game last week, but you played really well on a personal level and really were like the shining star of the game. Can you back that up this week? And will you be extra motivated if you're Abdul Carter to say, okay, what they are saying is true, right? I need to be focused in and I need to be locked in and look at all the good that happened for me on a football field. If you stack back-to-back weeks, and you brought up the whole tackle situation with the Vikings, making that a little easier, I think now we really have a snowball worth of momentum. All right, that's 2 straight weeks of Abdul Carter doing the right thing, being like the shining star, and you build total momentum. You want Abdul Carter. Regardless what happens the last 3 weeks, barring injury, I have no doubt that Jaxson Dart is going to enter this offseason getting after it and highly motivated and highly confident that he's figured it out in the NFL. I want Abdul Carter to feel that same way once this season ends. Whatever happens with a coach search, a GM search, the roster manipulation, you're going to be a New York Giant next year. And how confident are you in your ability to take that next step as a year 2 player? We saw Malik Neighbors enter the offseason with that. I want to see the same thing for Abdul Carter. Let's see him stack back-to-back weeks by doing the right thing and having the payoff after all your punishments.
And you mentioned like a reward, right? I think the reward, especially for I know that he's a competitive dude. I know that at this point of the year, he probably looked at last week's game and be like, I'm the man. I'm the reason why we almost won that football game to fully begin with, or even tied that football game at the end of regulation. Like, he's got to feel like that's got to make him feel damn good.
It should.
And it should, especially as a competitor, and he only had a half a sack coming into that game, so finally kind of getting home and having a game where you took over, and that's the type of dude that you can be in the NFL. Like, that feeling, and if you truly are a competitor, and if you're that dude, and if you're a dog, and all that kind of stuff, that feeling should be the driving force and the reward that you're chasing as to why you need to fully have. And that could be something that I hope in that meeting room, they're like, yeah, man, do you see what you did in the middle of the week? Did you see what you did in the beginning part of the week? That's the type of shit that can set you up for success on Sunday. So I know I said it on Sunday. I repeated it in the middle of the week. We're repeating it now. 3 games left for Abdul Carter. If we continue to hear from the broadcast that they're having, he's having a good week of practice, he's there, he's attentive, because each broadcast and each broadcast team is going to be asking the Giants that, like, how is he doing? And if we see good play continue and the box score to look like the way it should, then we know what that answer is.
Can I reveal on air my worst fear about Abdul Carter these final 3 games?
I'm a big believer in revealing worst fears about this team.
Okay. We're in a trust circle here, right? Our audience on Talking Giants, and I don't have to get the million tweets going, you're ridiculous for saying that.
You're not allowed. I'm a big believer in disclaimers too when I reveal worst fears. You are not allowed to hold Sean accountable for what he is about to say. Yeah. This is something that is in his heart that he needs to say out loud.
And I want to make this clear. I don't think this will be the case, but it is a thought I had this week. Abdul Carter is extremely close, and dare I say, looks up to Micah Parsons. The Penn State comparison, they were compared to each other. They are tight. They talked to each other leading up to the draft. They talked to each other leading up to the season. He was very much like watching the whole Micah Parsons, Dallas, Green Bay situation unfold. I'm assuming that at some point this week, Abdul Carter has spoken to Micah Parsons, who, as we know, tore his ACL last Sunday with the Green Bay Packers. And my only worst fear with Abdul Carter is we have 3 weeks left in a season. He knows the Giants stink. He knows they only have 2 wins. Does he look at what happens to Micah Parsons and hear what Micah's going through and talk to him and take his foot off the gas 3 weeks and puts it into just don't get me hurt heading into the offseason mode?
It would be nuts if he did that.
I understand, which is why I didn't lead with it.
Which is why you're not allowed to hold. Which is why I'm not allowed to hold you accountable for what you just said.
I don't think he will do that. I'm just saying we have a track record now of Abdul Carter being late to meetings. You wonder about this stuff. Knowing he's closest with Micah Parsons, the thought just came to me is, please don't talk to Micah Parsons, get all worried about that and go, you know what, I don't want to be dealing with an injury in the offseason. That was just my worst fear. I'm putting it out there and Talking Giants.
Okay. All right, Sean.
You hate that. I could tell you hate it.
I just don't know. That's something you only think about. We think about different things.
I think about the stupidest things in the world.
I go to bed thinking about explosive play rates and EPA per play, and I count sheep by counting explosive plays. That's what I do. You go to sleep thinking about something completely different.
You don't want to be inside this brain. There's a lot of stupid stuff in this brain.
You don't want to be in mine either. Clearly.
Yes.
One more thing. I didn't talk about this in the midweek show, but I do want to bring it up now. Again, something to root for, something to look out for. We are going to have I was thinking about this before the show. Like, I'm excited. We were talking about, I'm excited to do like themed episodes with you in the off season. like where we could talk about big topics and talk about players, and instead of just reacting to a game or then previewing a game like we've been doing. I'm excited to actually talk about other things with you. I was looking yesterday because I knew that Deonte Banks was like good in some of these stats that I'm about to say, like target separation. Deonte Banks was like one of the best in the league, like top 5 in the league at like lowest separation rate. But as we know, that he just can't make a play in the football, so then that's why he's one of the worst corners in the league.
Right.
So I was finally looking at cornerback stats, like on next gen player tracking stuff. Cordale Flott, out of all DBs with at least 300 coverage snaps, Cordale Flott has the 3rd lowest average target separation in the NFL, only behind Pat Surtain and Quinyon Mitchell. And Flott has allowed the 8th lowest coverage EPA among cornerbacks in the NFL that have at least 300 coverage snaps. That is fucking crazy.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
He's eased the pain of Deonte Banks being a bust. Let's be honest. And I think looking back on the 2025 Giants, I hope, and we'll see what the contract stuff is with Flott. If Flott ultimately remains a Giant, you could look back on, besides Jaxson Dart, Cordale Flott being the biggest win of the 2025 New York Giants. Like if he remains here and is a building block, because remember, when you take a guy in the 3rd round, the hope is they emerge as a longtime starter for your team. And I think because he was so young when he was drafted, and because like he was kind of a player who couldn't figure out, is he a nickel? Is he on the outside? We kind of wrote him off a little bit. They signed a Debo. Banks is here. I mean, this is kind of what you would have hoped by year 4, and yet we got there and we're still shocked by it. It's the Cordale Flott story is one of the weirdest stories in recent Giant history.
I know. Because then it's like, oh, is it just a 1-year thing? Is it sustainable? Different system next year? What is that going to look like?
He is the ideal guy, and I don't know how other teams are going to view him. That when you hear the term, you pay a guy for what you think they're about to become, not what they've done. Like that's like the free agency plan most teams have. He really falls into that category as an NFL player.
Yeah. If you were to tell me that Cordale Flott is a top 10 quarterback and cover in lowest coverage EPA allowed in the NFL, if you told me that in August, I'm like, oh my God, do the Giants have 9 or 10 wins
with a crappy defensive coordinator?
Well, then I would have thought if you only told me that one stat, if you told me in August, Justin, you don't know what's going to happen, but I'm telling you that by December 18th, December 19th, Cordale Flott's going to be top 10 in coverage EPA. You're like, oh my God, then Paulson Adebo must be awesome. Javon Holland must have 4 interceptions. Dexter Lawrence is the defensive player of the year candidate. Abdul Carter is the rookie of the year. Like, oh, this defense must be awesome. If out of all people, Cordale Flott is top 10 in coverage EPA. And no, it turns out he's like the only bright spot in that sector.
Crazy. What a crazy year.
All right. Touchdown draft. The touchdown draft and spread picks that is coming up, they are brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Holiday football has arrived with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner in the NFL. The unexpected could turn game day into payday. And don't forget, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If a player goes down in the first half, you still get paid in cash. Here's the best part. New customers, if you bet just $5 and your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code JMFootball. That's code JMFootball. Bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins instantly. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Thank you to DraftKings.
Yes, and a lot of good profit boosts for the college football playoff. DraftKings is throwing out there for you too. You should know.
So last week, I had another great week when it comes to the touchdown draft. Another great week, solid week. I took my layups. Well, I mean, Wando Robinson, not exactly a layup, but plus 200, that's a yes. That's 200 points on the board for me. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, he was the favorite, scored. I took him, 155 points for me. No Darius Slayton. But he did, you know what? Good process by me. He dropped a touchdown.
Oh, we've never seen that before. What a process, Justin.
But I was right. I was right with the pick. They went to him, and the ball was in his hands.
No kidding. That's why you don't draft Darius Slayton, because they go to him a lot, and he drops the ball in his hands.
That's, you know what? That was still a good pick by me.
I'm not gonna let you take bows for that. I refuse.
Jaxson Dart, you drafted Jaxson Dart. He was a no. He almost scored one. He tried to run on a pass play, and then he left the game. Terry McLaurin scored at plus 180.
Nice effort by Paulson Adebo on that.
And then Isaiah Hodgins at plus 370. was a big NO. So now the season standings, really running away with it. I have 3,965 points. Sean, you have 2,055 points.
All right.
It's the year the Giants will win their next Super Bowl. 2050. No.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
I'll be very old. I will be old.
I'll be dead.
I have the first pick this week in the Talking Giants Touchdown Draft 2.0.
Yeah.
And this is an easy number one for me.
Well, let me just tell the audience again, if you're listening, number 1, Justin Jefferson, number 2, Tyrone Tracy, number 3, Jordan Mason, number 4, Devin Singletary, number 5, Aaron Jones. Those are your top 5 odds.
This is an easy number pick for me, Sean.
Okay.
Jalen Naylor.
Ooh,
at plus 300.
I like it.
I don't know why Justin Jefferson. I mean, I could tell you why Justin Jefferson's a favorite to get a touchdown, because he's Justin Jefferson. That's why Justin Jefferson's a favorite. But I feel like he doesn't even get targeted in the red zone anymore. And I know that as a Justin Jefferson fantasy owner who is in the fantasy football playoffs this week. But Jalen Naylor and Jordan Addison, they get a lot of the targets, but especially Jalen Naylor, never knew her. He is leading the team right now in touchdowns, tied with Josh Oliver. So give me Jalen Naylor at plus 300, and I feel awesome about that pick. All
right. Give me TJ Hawkinson at plus 320.
Okay.
He's going to hawk to.
Oh, no. Nobody took Tyrone Tracy last week, and he had 2. That would have been double the points. I'm not taking him now. Not taking him now. Do I go back to the well of Theo Johnson? No, not Wandale. Because I feel like it's been a minute since Theo's gotten a target inside the red zone. And now, like, Jaxson Dart's odds have shot up to plus 210. Wandale is even a little bit less value at plus 225. So I feel like Theo Johnson, good value again, plus 245. Give me Theo at plus 245.
Okay. Now I know you have to go inside the top 5 with your third pick. So I'm going to
have to.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you have 1 pick left. You haven't taken one. So I'm going to make sure I take Tyrone Tracy off the board from you now at plus 165.
I like that. I hope Tyrone Tracy continues to stack good games. Really solid game, especially the receiving touchdown was sick over Bobby Wagner. I still want to see more. The Giants, like, I was looking at stats and numbers again. Wednesday was a big stats and numbers day for me. I want to see if they can develop a little bit more of an identity rushing under center. Cam Scatterbo, who was seen as like this power yards after contact back, I think like bottom 5 under center rush rate for Cam Scatterbo on the year, because that's kind of where the Giants offense was at when he kind of came in as a full-time starter and then along with Jaxson Dart. So I still want to see Jaxson Dart take more snaps under center, start to throw the ball more under center play action. The first play of the game against Washington was that backside dig to Darius Slayton with the play action. So especially with Brian Flores and them getting aggressive, I think going under center and maybe going a little bit more beefier with the personnel may be a move. And I want Tyrone Tracy to be part of that. So let's go, Tyrone Tracy. All right, I got one more pick. Justin Jefferson, dude, like, drafted you 7th overall in the league, brother, and you're having like an okay year. The fact that I have Rashee Rice and George Pickens makes me feel a lot better that you're not Justin Jefferson. Let's get a touchdown. I'm taking you because I'm not even hedging my happiness. I need it, brother. I need you at plus 130.
Okay. I'm down a lot. I have Hawkinson and Tyrone Tracy on the board. I'm going to take a shot. I'm going to take a shot down the field at plus 700 with Josh Oliver, who has 4 touchdowns this year.
Yeah. I love that pick. 10 catches on the year, 4 touchdowns.
Why not? That's what you do with a third pick when you down pick.
I don't get enough credit for how clutch my Kyle Williams pick was a couple weeks ago.
Are you still on that? There wasn't even a catch.
I'm still on it because it was insane. It was a plus 1,200 hit. You want to know who's plus the closest to Josh Oliver and Eric Gray? Plus 700, plus 1,700. It was like me taking the equivalent to like Eric Gray.
You want me to change my pick to Dalen Cambry for you?
Jalin Hyatt's plus 1,800.
You know what? I'm not even going to say the words, but F him. Off. They shouldn't even look in his direction.
He shouldn't even be on the field.
No, he should not.
How many times has he been targeted? This Doug Analytics and everybody was putting this out this week. I know 3 interceptions when he's been targeted. 3 interceptions, and then he's been targeted 14 times.
14 times. Oh, that's crazy.
Oh, we're on Jalin Hyatt target watch, by the way. He was targeted and catch watch. He was targeted 19 times last year. He's been targeted 14 times this year, and he needs 4 more catches to have a better season reception-wise than he did last year. Can he get 4 receptions in the next 3 games?
No. He will not. I better chance he doesn't have a single reception the rest of the year.
3 first downs last year. He has 2 this year.
I mean, he's not. I think they lost total control last week when they threw that interception. I think he might be inactive on Sunday.
We're on Jalin Hyatt watch. That's all I'm saying.
Jeez.
All right, spread picks. Huge development in spread picks as well. I went 4-4 last week. I've had a lot of 4-4 weeks recently. My last 2 weeks have been 4-4.
Yeah.
Sean, you went 2-6.
I had a turd week.
So our record's not very good. I am 38-49. Sean, after you being well above 500 and cruising, we will have a competitive end to the Talking Giants spread picks 2.0. 42-45. I am 4 games behind.
It's incredible because I'm having actually a really good since October gambling. I'm really good with props, really good on lines. I think I'm really bad at reading the lines when we record these things on a Thursday, Friday. Like I think I have a better read on Sunday, but that's no excuse. Got to put my foot forward here.
Well, I love this Thursday night football game. I love it. It's my favorite broadcast in football, and I get to be really excited about a football game. 2 football teams I love. I love Old Man Stafford. I love Mike McDonald. I kind of wish and hope that we can get a Mike McDonald type of coach in here that is innovative and that is exciting and that is forward thinking. And maybe we're even looking at that guy, Chris Shula, being the defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams as our Mike McDonald. Both teams 11-3. Rams are 5-2 away. Seahawks are 5-2 at home. I thought they weren't that good at home. I guess they are now because they're a good football team. Sean, Seahawks are home favorites by 1.5 points. What do you got?
Rams flight delays, not getting into the wee hours of the morning on Thursday. Sean McVay had a baby on Sunday night, and Puka Nakua's brother's been arrested. All that leads me to Mike McDonald will get a win, E-I-E-I-O, and in that win, he'll cover the 1.5, E-I-E-I-O.
That song went 5 seconds longer than I thought it would go.
Okay, well, we got it.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going. I really want to get 1 game closer. I really want to get 1 game closer after Thursday Night Football. But I also love Matthew Stafford, and I also like my friend Trevor Plouffe, who will be at this game. I wonder if his flight was delayed. Screw it. We're both going with the Rams.
No, I picked the Seahawks.
You did. Wow. Then I'm definitely going Rams. No hesitation.
Did you listen to the song? Mike McDonald will get a win. E-I-E-I-O.
I was worrying about your tone and how you were singing versus the words.
You worried about my tone? You have Trevor Plouffe's flight plans.
I know. I'll text him. I'm not texting Trevor Plouffe. Packers at Bears. Packers. Favorites on the road. 1.5 points.
No, they're dogs on DraftKings right now.
No.
I'm staring live at DraftKings right now.
I'm updating because what I'm looking at are the odds. Oh wow! You know what? I had this page open before we recorded. I think it flipped.
So
it had to just flip.
Something happened betting wise or in the injury report for sure.
All right, I'm definitely going Pack then.
Okay, no Micah Parsons either. Remember, this game is the Saturday night game. I think Burkhardt and Brady on Saturday night. I will take the Packers as well.
Fox doubleheader, huh?
Fox doubleheader on a Saturday.
Yeah, give me the Pack. I still think they can win the Super Bowl. I feel better about the Rams. The Rams like coming out of the NFC now, but give me the Packers. I still think they can do it. Jordan Love's been good.
He has been. The Parsons injury is going to hurt him though, big time. But
Bucks at Panthers. Bucks favorites on the road by 3 points. Sean?
How do I not take Carolina's a different team? Give me Carolina plus the 3 here. I don't like the way the Bucks have trended at all.
feel like whenever the spotlight's on the Panthers and they got to like do it and they got to like show up.
I know.
I feel like I'm out on them. So give me the Bucks. I believe in Baker Mayfield. I believe in Todd Bowles to a point. And I think, hey, you know what? Talking about my own fantasy playoffs, Mike Evans, let's go. JC Horn, have a day. Need you, pal. This is like the first year where I feel like I have like a decent shot.
Good for you.
That's game number 3. Let's go on to game number 4. Oh, this is huge. Let's do a bunch of the games that the Giants are someone involved in. I'm not doing Bills and Browns because you know what? F it. Let's do it. Tankathon. Bills versus Browns. Do the Browns have a rally in their bones to help out the Giants and win?
The Browns are home, getting 10.5. I got it's juice to the Browns here. I got to take the Bills just to lay one on here. It kind of feels like Stefanski's pulling a George Costanza and wants to get fired here right now with Cleveland.
I think that's a name to maybe look out for, right? Maybe. I don't know.
Very, very much a name to look out for.
Give me the Browns to cover. They win.
I like that pick. I hate that I picked the Bills here, but I can't back Cleveland in this spot.
How many sacks is Myles Garrett? It's like going to get the record, right?
Yeah, I think there's going to be a tough game for him with Josh Allen, though. I can see Josh Allen running out of plenty of
21.5. What's the record? 22.5?
22.5, yeah.
He needs one to tie.
It is 22.5. Yeah. What a year for Myles Garrett.
That's nuts, man. And you know what I respect? If he does it in 16 games.
Yeah, then you're not using
17.
the 17. Yeah, you're not using the 17th. You got to respect it.
Yeah.
Maybe Josh Allen will slide down and Myles Garrett could touch him down.
Josh Allen's a tough guy to sack. Give me the Browns to cover. And you know what? Let's go Browns. Let's go win. Jets at Saints. We are rooting for the Jets in this game, Sean. And guess what? They're only 4.5 point dogs on the road.
Yeah, and we're rooting for the Jets because we want the Saints to lose, better strength of schedule for the Giants. Brady Cook playing again. Saints are cooking right now with Shuck, though. I think the Saints win and cover at home.
I think they do too. Who's that quarterback for the Jets?
Brady Cook.
Yeah, no thank you. I think the Saints cover. I do not think they're going to help the Giants here. Chiefs Titans.
Wow.
Gardner Minshew at quarterback. Rashee Rice in the concussion protocol. Bad for my NJ Husker fantasy football team.
How weird is this, too?
This is a weird line, right?
Gardner Minshew, lane 3. The Titans stink. Cam Ward saying this week he wants to be involved in a head coaching search.
Let's
imagine that. What would we be saying right now if Cam Ward was a Giant quarterback and he said that? Would we be backing him? Would we be under? Would we be making excuses for him?
I'd be like, Jim, I don't know. Maybe relax. You know what? I will say Cam Ward, I'm excited about Cam Ward. He's had some like really good throws. Like the Cam Ward stuff that got you excited about Miami.
Yeah.
It's there.
I'm not giving up on Cam Ward at all. It's just funny hearing that, knowing that we're in a spot here where we need a coach with Jaxson Dart. He's not saying. Okay, to actually make a pick, though. Chiefs lane 3 versus the Titans. I feel like I'm going to be very Joe Public here, but I'm taking the Titans to cover. I question, we haven't seen this Chief team play with nothing on the line and being eliminated in a long, long time. Really nobody on this core. And I just question what they look like here this week. So I'm going to take the Titans at home here, getting 3.
Yeah. This would be awesome if the Titans can win.
No doubt. Remember, the Chiefs play the Raiders through the last game of the year. So if they really fall apart here, that could help the Giants.
So I will also go Titans because that is what I want.
Okay.
I think we need, 2 more games?
I've lost count on how many we picked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've picked 6 games, yeah.
All right, 2 more. So let's do Sunday night and Monday night. Patriots at Ravens. This is kind of a huge game. Ravens, 3-point favorites at home. I'm going to go Lamar. I think the Patriots, eventually they're going to slow down. They're undefeated on the road. I've been saying that I think the Patriots might slow down. I think Lamar's good. I love Lamar. My favorite player to watch in the NFL. Game means a lot for the Ravens. I also really want the Ravens to make the playoffs and possibly win that division over the Steelers because I would much rather see them in the playoffs than whatever the Steelers are going to do in the wild card round. Steelers could even win the wild card round, but then whoever they'll play in the divisional round, it'll look awful. So give me the Ravens. Let's go Ravens. I am picking games with my heart and not my brain this week.
I love that take. Here's the thing. Lamar Jackson missed Wednesday's practice. Now, he's been missing the practices with this injury, but this was because of the flu. We got the flu going around Baltimore a little bit. I have been a sucker all year and thinking the Chiefs were going to figure it out. Some of these other teams in the NFL, I kept thinking they'd figure it out. I'm off the Raven bus here, man, a little bit. Now, I still think that the Steelers won't make things easy on them. Patriots off a loss, and I'm getting points. Give me the Pats +3.
49ers at Colts on Monday night. Do you have a line for this game, Sean?
I do. The Colts are getting 6.5 at home.
I think I'm going to go with the 49ers. I love the Niners. I know they haven't played anybody over the last month or so, but this is also a team in the NFC, along with the Packers, along with the Rams. Probably, like, arguably outside of the Rams, the only team that's, like, been there or done that that you feel good about. Obviously, the Eagles have, but the Eagles feel like a mess and like a soap opera every single year. But the 49ers have been there, done that with coach, key players, quarterback. So I like the way that the 49ers are playing, and I just like the way that they're constructed overall right now.
I'm with you. I can't even swerve the other way. I was on the Colts covering last week. I think they got their 1 week fun game with Phillip Rivers, but as long as it stays under 7, this is obviously a McCaffrey versus Taylor game. Give me the Niners to cover.
Giants versus Vikings prediction. What do you got, Sean?
I think the Giants are going to have a lead in this game. I think Ben Sauls is also going to make a booming kick in this game. But ultimately, I think the defense is going to collapse once again in the fourth quarter. I'm taking the Vikings to cover the 3 and the Vikings to win a game 29-24 at MetLife on Sunday.
I don't think it's going to be that high scoring.
Well, I just don't trust either of these defenses right now. The Viking injuries and the Giant defense, it stinks.
I still think Flores can bring it, and I think he'll get his guys in a good spot. I also don't really trust the Giants' offensive pieces to, like, either A, be explosive, or B, like, string along, like, drives.
Yeah.
So give me the Vikings 24, the Giants 20.
Okay, and that's a cover, and you will be at the game on Sunday.
I'll be at the game. I'll be tailgating. I won't be tailgating. I'll be hanging out in L16. There will be no kind of formal tailgate. This is it, man. I'm going to get a little bit more emotional when I talk about it for the Dallas game, because that'll be the last game of the season that I'll also be at. But this is it. I'm not renewing my tickets next year. It's not because the team is bad. I haven't gone to any games so far this year, so this will be my first Giant game. It's kind of just like better for my career if I like covered the games from home, and like even like football stuff, like 90% of my million view videos that I've gotten this year, I've put out on Sunday, and I was not doing I could not do that stuff.
Yeah.
If I were to go to the game, and then after I come home, I'm just so tired and I don't want to do anything. So, I'm going to be a little bit emotional because this is it.
You should be as a longtime season ticket holder. But Justin is somebody who has lived the life as a Giant fan, going to 1 or 2 games a year as a non-season ticket holder. It's a perfectly like healthy life to live. And at some point next year, the plan is for me and Justin to link up in the lot and hopefully grab some beers with you guys. The Giant fans will pick a game next year. And
no, you're coming this Sunday.
This Sunday, I'm not coming. I can assure you I'm not coming. And we should probably alert the audience, too, if you're really big on catching us immediately post-game. So Justin is going to the game. It's going to take him a little while to get home as well. And this weekend is my daughter's birthday. So, we, family coming over. We watch the Giants. We got, the pizza, the cake, whole deal. So we are planning on, right away when those 4 o'clock games end, Justin gets home, gets settled, whatever time that might be, that, look for us in that 7:30.
Around 7:30.
Yeah, let's call it around 7:30, give or take a couple minutes. You will see us live, and we will recap the game then.
Perfect. All right, so we'll see you then. Let's go Giants, or maybe not. Let's go Giants. Hope to see you Sunday. We'll be hanging out. Peace.